Hi, we're going to go ahead and start our new cycle. So we're in cycle 2 and this is day 1, and we're going to start by making our vocabulary chart. So let me share well, actually I don't have to share my screen for this part. You just need a piece of paper. And we are going to make our vocabulary chart so we can give ourselves our initial rating. So we're going to write vocab. And then the IR is for your initial rating. And then day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're just going to draw a line straight down. We're going to write in our vocabulary words. So the first one is lightweight. And if you want to, as you go down it, you can go ahead and give yourself your initial rating. So plus, yes, I know what that means, or question mark, I'm not so sure I know what that means. And then you just keep going. Think about it, plus, question mark. Pounds. The next one is occur. Earn. Grandest. Compete. Okay, so you are going to go through and do your initial rating. If you're watching the video, you can pause here so you can make sure you can get it all. And at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you can give yourself a rating for day 1, like if you know it or you don't. By the time we go over it, you're just going to fill that in however, whatever you think. Okay, so let me share my screen here. Okay, so our new team cooperation goal is that we're going to work on explaining our ideas and telling why. So what might it look like to explain your ideas and tell why about something? What might that sound like? Okay, in this cycle, we're going to finish reading the Run, Jump, Throw, The World of Track and Field by Tanya Jackson. So we're going to finish. We're going to be down here on the next part of it. As we read, we're going to continue to summarize sections of the text as we read. In this cycle, we're practicing writing summaries. So remember, good readers summarize as they read informational text to check their understanding of the important ideas the author wants them to know. Okay. And we are going to be using the TI, here, I'm gonna bring it up for you, TIGRRS to understand our informational text. So I know that when we read informational text, we can use this to help us better understand the text. I remember the first step of TIGRRS is to identify the topic of the text. We identified the topic of the text in cycle 1. The topic of the text is track and field. We read about the 2 types of track and field in that cycle. That was the running and the jumping events. We remind ourselves about the topic of the text. Then we think about the intent of the author. That's the I. So we think about why the author wrote the text. Last cycle, we decided the author's intent was to inform us about different track and field events. As I flip through these pages for this next section that we're going to be reading, I can see if the intent is still the same as in this cycle's reading. Yes, we're still going to be learning about different events. I see that there are some throwing events. I also see there are some types of competitions. So that's still the intent of the author. Our next step is to choose a graphic organizer to help us record the important ideas from the text. In the last cycle, we used an idea tree. The author gives a lot of ideas and details that support them. When I flip through the second half of the text, I still see that it's arranged the same way. So we're going to use an idea tree to keep the important information. And then the next step is to read and restate and then read and review, and then we summarize. So we're still looking at summarizing. This time our word power is base words and endings. We are going to be writing a descriptive paragraph for our writing day in this unit. Excuse me. Let's go over our words. So lightweight means not heavy. The cat looked huge because of its thick fur, but it was actually very lightweight. Then we have the word sails. Sails means flies. The ball sails through the air as the two children pass it to each other. Then we have the word pounds. This means hits hard. The jackhammer pounds into the cement to break it into small pieces. Then occur. That means to happen. 2 sporting events will occur today, so the school will be a busy place. Then we have the word earn. Earn just means receive as an award. Morgan will earn a star if she gets an A on her spelling test. Then we have the word grandest. Grandest means biggest and best. Julia is throwing her sister the grandest party anyone has ever seen. Then we have the word compete. Compete means to go up against someone, as in a game or a contest. The 2 teams will compete for the trophy tomorrow. So remember, you're going to fill in on your day 1 how you're feeling about that now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to read this. So we've been using a tool. Do you remember what the name of the tool is that we have been using? It's called an idea tree. Remember, we used it to put our ideas and the supporting details down. Okay, so we're going to use our ideas or our idea trees to write summaries for our informational texts. When we write summaries, we have to make sure that they're short and we leave out the less important information. So let's look at this. And so I'm going to show you how to make an idea tree. You don't have to do this one, but just kind of watch it so that way you understand. The brass facts. Some horns are made of brass. Brass is shiny, gold-colored metal. A trumpet is a kind of horn. It is made of brass. There are many other kinds of horns. A trombone is a horn. A tuba is also a horn. They are also made of brass. To play any horn, you blow in one end. Sound comes out of the other end. You also press keys. You press the keys to change the sound. Some people like to play in brass bands. A brass band is a group of people playing brass horns together. A lot of horns playing together can be very loud. So what is this passage mostly about? Brass horns. I'm going to write that as my main idea on my idea tree. So I'm just going to draw a circle and I'm going to put in it brass horns. Okay, I'll check my main idea by finding some supporting details. I read about brass. So I noticed that it said brass is a gold colored metal. So I might write that as a detail. So far I have it like this. I'm going to put brass is a gold colored metal. And then I'm just going to attach it to my tree just like that, because there's my main idea and there is my detail. Okay, it also said that it tells you how to play a brass horn. So you blow air in one end and you press keys to change the sound. So I'm just going to put, sorry, I'm going to put to play, you blow air in one end. And then you press keys to change the sound. Press keys to change the sound. So that's just another detail for brass horns. I also read that a group of people playing brass horns is called a brass band. So I'm just going to put brass band equals group of people. Because remember, I'm just going to use my organizer to help me write my summary. So now I've got my details that support my main idea of brass horns. So I'm ready to write my summary. I know that I need to include my main idea and I need to identify the most important details. I should leave out anything that's less important that I might have added to my idea tree. So I know that I want to include how to play the brass horn is important. So I'll include that. If I don't know what brass is, then I don't know what a brass horn is. So I'll also include the detail about brass. Do I need to include the detail about brass bands? The information about brass bands is interesting, but it doesn't really seem as important as the other details. It's less important. So I'm not going to include that in my actual summary. Okay. So if I was going to take my organizer and I was going to write a summary using this organizer, I would just get another piece of paper and I would look at it and I go, okay, well, this is what I wrote down. So this is kind of what you do on your tests and stuff. I want to make sure I tell people what color it is. So I'm going to say brass horns are made from gold colored metal. So see how I took my idea and I put it into a sentence as I'm writing my summary. And then I want to include the types of horns. So I'm going to put trumpets, tubas, and trombones are types of brass horns. And then I also wanted to include what you do to play one. So I'm going to put you blow in one end to play a brass horn. You also press keys to change the sound. You also press keys to change the sound. Okay, so that's how you use your idea tree to write a summary. So let me go back and share my screen. We're going to do our listening comprehension. So I am going to read to you this first page. Run, jump, throw, and learn. Whoops, I went too far. Sorry. I'm going to read 52. Here we go. Heavy stones. Running is important in track and field. So is jumping. The last important part is throwing. There are several throwing events. One of them is called the shot put. The shot is a very heavy iron ball. It may weigh as little as 8 pounds and as much as 16 pounds. Throwers hold the ball in their hands close to their shoulders. They spin or take a small jump and push the shot as far as they can go. You might not think a heavy iron ball can go very far, but it can. The current world record throw is 75 feet, 10.2 inches. It takes a lot of strength and practice to throw that far. Okay, so we are going to add that to an idea tree. I'm going to stop here because I'm going to have to make another half of this video.